We're currently on the journey screen, which I've only ever been on by accident. It's a fairly self-explanatory screen though, and I haven't cared about titles, triumphs, or my adventurer rank until now. I suppose the fact that it never got in my way is a good thing though. I've already completed most of the objectives, like increasing my season rank to 7, completing 4 seasonal challenges, obtaining the seasonal artifact, activating 3 artifact perks, increasing our seasonal power bonus, and talking to Saint 14 to learn about the Trials of Osiris. I apparently did so, but I actually don't have any idea what that is besides being a PvP thing. The only objective I have is to complete one more gunsmith vendor challenge. This one in particular also unlocks arsenal armor mods, which are probably something I should have. Seeing as I've already completed one of these missions, I assume that it was one of the bounties in my inventory. Out of the 2 that I had left, the first one required me to complete a few more Crucible matches using solar damage. The second was to complete 4 Empire hunts on a higher difficulty. Since these were just taking up space in my inventory, I decided that completing both of them were probably in my best interest, and so I started with the higher level Empire hunts. The only problem is that on the Europa map, there was no activity labeled as such. Since this was the case, I headed on over to Barracks as there was probably some quests I needed to complete first. Lo and behold, I can pick up several Empire Hunt quests, each one corresponding to their respective campaign missions. Unfortunately, I had to complete several steps before I could gain access to any of these hunts, and I had to spend 40 Hero Always pieces. This was rather expensive, but I only needed 4. However, I figured that since I was here doing these at this time, I might as well go the distance and interact with the reputation system. I haven't needed to do so before now, and if they provided me with bonus rewards, as well as progressing my overall account, then that would be good enough. Skimming over the quest reveals that completion does grant me a few bonus rewards, like the first Empire Hunt quest. This makes Empire Hunts cost fewer Hero Always pieces, and that is kind of exactly what I was looking for. Unfortunately, this is where I stop being conscientious, and after picking up the first bounty, I don't spend another minute to read the rest of them. Well, I can't do anything about that now, not that I'm gone for long. This tier 1 quest isn't even a challenge, as it only requires us to complete 5 patrols, collect 25 materials, and perform 10 finishers. The patrols are your pretty typical generic side quest. First, I had to kill some Elixni and pick up a generic item in order to confirm their kill. This one took way longer than it should have because I could only find Vex in the area I was in for like 10 minutes straight. Like, seriously, the game knew and was purposefully trolling me, I swear. After that, I had to kill an unspecified number of combatants until I filled an arbitrary 100% meter. How about killing enemies with only precision shots? Wow. Of course, the game couldn't make me kill enemies forever. And thus changed it up by making me scan the environment. Wow, exciting. My final patrol of defeating enemies was the perfect crescendo to this roller coaster. Back at Varix, the quests are automatically redeemed and the passive rewards now apply. European Explorer 1 requires me to defeat combatants using kinetic, energy, and power weapons. Surely I don't need to bore you with that. I did just use the Lost Sector near the Eventide Ruins landing zone in order to speed up this process. European Explorer 2 required me to defeat powerful combatants in Empire Hunts, and that unlocks the higher levels I need to complete. I go through the Empire Hunt process in much more detail in my Beyond Light video, so go check that out if you care. In any case, the actual process to unlock the Empire Hunt takes longer than the time it takes to actually clear out one. Once we return to Varix, we are informed that 1 Empire Hunt per week is unlocked at a higher difficulty. I have no idea why you would ever need to do this aside from forcing the player to track what week they would need to log in order to complete a certain Empire Hunt. This doesn't really seem like it extends the amount of time a player would play the game, but I suppose it does work in bringing players back. Or, at least, it did. Yeah, there's this whole drama about Destiny 2's player numbers dropping, but besides from me saying that it's bad, I don't know what you would want me to say about it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start the Empire Hunt on Advanced Difficulty, running in. We've spawned into an already in progress Empire Hunt. 2.5 minutes have passed, so of course I have to catch up to the rest of my teammates, and here I am awkwardly failing to control my Sparrow as I, try to catch up. Luckily, I do manage to join, so I have no idea what happened in this situation, but it seems like maybe everyone in the previous Empire Hunt left, and Redfield was the first one to join in, then I joined in, and then a third person joined in, or technically is connecting, at least according to the Bungie message, but you know, they aren't really, they're taking forever to load in. And it seems like the enemies are also taking forever to load in because as we progress on forward, you know, the enemies that should normally be here are just not here for some reason. You know, even progressing forward to the door, it's green, but we can't progress through. Very cool. We run all the way back to the entrance, you know, hoping that we miss something, or presumably that re-engaging the instance will make the enemies respawn. And I do see an objective marker, and I do hear audio, and I do see the zone transition properly. So for some reason, some sort of bug caused the enemies to not spawn in, which is very cool. Love to see that. Thanks, Bungie. In any case, with that 2 minutes wasted, I can go ahead and just completely rush in to the enemies. Of course, I do take a bit of damage, but that's just because I'm base tanking a wyvern, basically. Not too big of a deal. I did switch my DPS weapon, my heavy, to the bittersweet, just because, you know, you're switching up weapons, you know, the whole shebang. All right, progress forward. We just have to defeat some vandals, some servitors. Nothing too crazy. All right, I progress forward, and this is where the first real instance of challenge appears, and that's mainly because, you know, I am not currently prepared to deal with a barrier hobgoblin, and from the looks of it, neither is the rest of my team. So, you know, here I am checking my inventory real quick. I'm sure I have an artifact mod that makes some weapon, you know, deal damage to barriers, but luckily I do have my Wish Ender on me, because I needed to do some kinetic stuff, and boom, quick swapping takes care of the barrier, so not really too much of a problem. I mean, ideally, you know, one of my teammates would have anti-barrier, because, you know, Verglas Curve takes care of pretty much everything. Overload and barrier, I forgot the other one. Mainly overloads, because that's the other champion type that appeared here. So I'm keeping the Wish Ender mainly because, you know, if we encounter any other bigger enemy types, I need to be ready to stun it, because one of our teammates did stun an overload previously. Oh yeah, I also do have the turret, which also freezes, so, you know, that stuns overloads, no problem. So ideally Wish Ender technically a little bit better, but I mean, Wish Ender is not great for clearing a bunch of ads. In any case, it does seem like I switched back to the Verglas Curve. I'm just like, all right, well, if there's a barrier champion, I will just switch then. This room pretty familiar. Of course, immediately you run into a barrier servitor, so we take care of it before, you know, it's even able to regen. Taking a bunch of damage, not really that big of a deal though. Devourer will proc on a kill and regen me, and, you know, besides, I'm out of there anyways. Gotta be way more careful about not killing myself with my grenade launcher. All right, that room was no big a deal, so we're just gonna go ahead and phase on over to the next area. Very exciting having to run this rather absurdly long distance and fight no enemies, but it's okay. This room is pretty intense because there is another overload champion for us to deal with as I rush in all the way into the back, because, you know, I'm trying to take up the high ground. Stun it real quick, take care of it, boom. And with that, you know, we only have to focus on the break in front of us, which our teammates were already focused on. So with me having taken care of the overload in the back, we can rush on forward. Here we are, taking care of Pixis, House Elevation, no problem as I pop Transcendence. Arcane Needle takes care of the dregs in literally a single hit. I mean, boom, freeze that, boom, pop it, boom, it's dead. I mean, we are only on advanced difficulty, so it's not like, you know, everything dying, you know, pretty much as quickly as I would imagine. Here we are, jumping in over to the boss of the area, Critis, Dark Pieces. Wow, I totally remember this boss from Beyond Light. Just kidding. Anyways, its health is segmented into 4 chunks, and upon destroying one of those health chunks, it spawns 3 servitors, each in the corners of the map, and by killing the servitors, the immunity shield is withdrawn, and we are able to do damage again. It's been a while since I got frozen. Completely forgot that Y is a key to break out. Luckily, I am reminded. But, you know, I was not very active in actually breaking out. I'm not too sure how long the delay in cooldown in Breaking Out even is. But Critis is not really a problem as a boss fight. I mean, there's not really that many adds. I mean, the most danger I'm in is the ground slam knocking me off and also running out of ammo. Like here I only have one special ammo and no heavy ammo, so it's a little bit difficult for me to actually deal any significant damage to the servitors with just my Burgos curve. I do end up just popping my super because we're on the final health bar of Critis, and so just using my super here takes care of Critis, no problem. Wow, and with that, that was an advanced level Empire Hunt. Wow, crazy, I know. Aside from being spawned in the middle of the first one, while that one in particular took like 15 minutes, that wasn't too far off from the average of 10 minutes it took per run. Repeat this 3 more times, and the time waiting in matchmaking, and I spent just under an hour completing the Empire Hunt. Of course, if you paid attention, you were probably yelling at my screen calling me regarded because the mission in my inventory was 801's Armor Synthesis Bounty, not the Banshee 44 Weekly Gunsmith Vendor Challenge. Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, this was quite the egregious error, and I have no idea how I fucked up that badly. The only person I can really blame here is myself. Still, while not the task I intended on completing, finally having that bounty out of my inventory is still progress. At the gunsmith, I picked up the daily bounties, but I didn't find the weekly mission. After my blunder of monumental proportions, I couldn't let this go and checked my map. Tagged to the gunsmith marker was the weekly challenge, and it was to complete 8 daily missions. Banshee is also just giving out a selection of weapons, one of which is the Indebted Kindness sidearm. Already have the call and aberrant action, but a Volt version of a rocket sidearm is nice to have. I use it just for the sake of using it, but I do ultimately end up switching back to my aberrant action. Initially, I went through a nightfall in order to rush through getting my bounties, but the fact that there were other people rushing through the level made it a little bit annoying when I was constantly switching weapons. So when I picked up my second batch of bounties from Banshee, I decided to just take it to the Lost Sector instead. I needed a significant amount of grenade launcher kills, so I decided to check out the seasonal weapon, the Alethinium. The exotic trait causes vestiges to spawn whenever a grenade impales an enemy. The blue particles float to you and fill up a bar above your super. Killing a normal ad generates a fairly pitiful amount of vestigial energy, but attacking anything stronger than a red bar and a stream is rather significant. Filling up the bar doesn't do anything by itself, and it took me a while to figure out. But I recalled back to the time when I discovered that the Quicksilver Storm had an alternate firing mode, and so I held down my reload button. This switched the normal sight from a faint blue to a bright green hue. Firing a charge shot with half the bar full creates a special ammo brick, while the full charge mode generates a heavy ammo brick. I only ended up figuring this out thanks to having prior knowledge about the QSS alt firing mode. But at least there, in that exotic perk, it told you to press your reload key. Here, the flavor text is the most vague thing ever. I don't mind that, but it is really annoying to not also have the full details of the perk in the game as well. Like, I had to Google what the perk did in order to fully understand its intricacies. Why is this information not just in the game? The only other unique weapon I had to use was the Cole's Heart, and it sure was a Trace rifle. I only have 3 Trace rifles, and they are all exotic, so I wonder if that remains true for all of them, or if I just haven't found any legendary Trace rifles yet. In any case, I complete the Gunsmith bounties and turn them into Banshee. Marking the objective in my Journey tab unlocks Arsenal Armor mods and makes ranking up available to us. In order to actually advance, we have to meditate at the Ironwood tree in the tower. I'm not sure of the significance of the tree or action, but I do like this bit of flavor, and it helps in making the occasion seem a little bit more special, especially since we're adorned in a regal golden hue. With this, we're no longer an adventurer and are a veteran? Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief.